Hey everyone, Peter Giza here, co-founder of the Nurse Coach Collective. Popping in to first off say, hey, happy Nurses Week from the Nurse Coach Collective family. I hope you're having an amazing week. I hope you take some time for yourself. This is us chilling with our nurse coaching team, the team here at the Nurse Coach Collective. We got together about a month and a half ago to celebrate at our Nurse Coach Conference. But from our hearts to yours, happy Nurses Week, y'all. You know, I love my profession. And so to every nurse in every setting, happy Nurses Week. And I truly hope that you take some time for you this week. Whatever that looks like for you, maybe it is taking an afternoon off, getting a massage, slowing down for even just an hour. Whatever that looks like for you, I truly hope that you take some time just for you this week to celebrate yourself and how awesome you are. And you know, a lot of times what I've been hearing lately is there's a lot of negativity surrounding our profession. And you know, while we are indeed in a moment in time where many of the flaws of our current medical model are being exposed left and right, personally, I believe there is so much reason to be hopeful and optimistic. In fact, it's way more fun, but like if you're not excited to wake up every day and to do work and to solve big problems, then that's a problem. But I truly believe that there's an enormous amount of reason to be hopeful and optimistic, so I want to show you why. First off, 240 nurse coaches graduated this week. Collective 16, congrats y'all. You guys crushed it this week. So this is us on our final celebration calls. And we have some people who even got together. Like there was a group of 5 who got together to be on the call together. They brought in a photographer. It was really, really awesome. But this is a true reason to be hopeful and optimistic because that's 240 nurse coaches who are out there. They're putting in the work to elevate their practice, their patients, and their profession. Collective 16, welcome to the ranks of nurse coaches out there putting in the work to bring about true change and healing inside of our profession. I'm so, so proud of you all. It's a reason to be hopeful and optimistic. And what I want to do now is I want to share with you a few of the insights from our newest nurse coaches. On our final celebration call, we go around and we ask our nurse coaches to share what's been their greatest transformation over these past 7 months. And it's really, really fascinating. So here are some of the insights from our newest nurse coaches. First, nurse coaching is what they've been waiting for all along. Nearly every single nurse coach who graduated this past week said this. You know, the theme that came up over and over again is, I wish I'd done this sooner. You know, as a nurse coach, you're going to find more connection and purpose and fulfillment in your work. You'll help your patients to reverse disease and to live well. And you can completely redesign your relationship with your career, which really isn't that the whole reason that we got into nursing in the first place. I mean, when you think about the current state of health in our nation, more than 2/3 of people are on 1 or more prescription medications, have 1 or more chronic diseases, and are either overweight or obese. So it's more common to be on a medication, to have a chronic disease, to be overweight than it is to be on the other side of that. So if you look at that from just like the perspective of a nurse, no wonder like we feel out of alignment with the work that we're doing. But nurse coaching can prevent, treat, and reverse up to 80% of all lifestyle diseases. So the chronic diseases that we see every day, obesity and weight issues, mild to moderate mental health issues, right? So you can see why this work becomes so fulfilling when you start to do it. It's because this is why we got into nursing in the first place. And so a recurring theme that really came up over this past week was nurse coaches is what they've been waiting for all along. And like they're so grateful to have found it. Just like Heather and myself and pretty much every other nurse coach, we're so grateful to have found it because it is, it's kind of a game changer in our career. And if you want a little bit more insight into this, I invite you to go on our page here Here's some reviews from, this number is not even close to what it is. It's like 700 more. I haven't updated that in a while. But you can see here, why do 1,000 plus nurses love nurse coaching? Is becoming a nurse coach worth it? And here are raw, unfiltered testimonials from hundreds of nurses who have gone through this training. And really, what they're talking about is not only the course of their training, but what they've accomplished, what they've learned. And so as you go through here, I really invite you to spend some time listening to these stories, because you're going to hear these themes over and over and over again of, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for all along. This is what I've been searching for as a nurse. This is the whole reason that I got into nursing in the first place. And I'm just kind of starting my scroll here, but this just keeps on going and going. So I invite you to spend some time on our site looking at that. So that was like the first insight from our nurse coaches who graduated this week. And the second was that if you want to do your best work as a healer, you need to start with your own health and happiness. And this may seem counterintuitive. You're in the healing arts, so aren't you supposed to put your patients first? Right? Shouldn't you give and give and give? Actually, no. Putting your own well-being on the back burner has led us nurses to be more unhealthy than the average person. We find ourselves in a constant barrage of moral injury, and we're disconnected from why we became healers in the first place. It's interesting that it's taken us like 100+ years as a profession to arrive at the point that, if we want to put our best foot forward, that we need to take care of ourselves first. And in nurse coaching, we have this mantra that you can't take your clients any deeper than you've gone yourself. And what does that mean? Well, if you want to help your clients to elevate their own lifestyle, to improve their thinking patterns, their habits, their behaviors, to transform their beliefs to ones that are more empowering, and if you want to help your clients to take actions that are more in alignment with their higher self, you got to go through it yourself, right? If you want to do your best work as a healer and as a nurse coach, if you want to be willing to serve not only others, but also to serve yourself, you need to be an example of what it means to live healthy and well. And this doesn't mean that you need to be perfect, but simply committed to walking your talk. And the interesting thing was, after going through a 7-month-long continuing education course, one of the most impactful things was how it impacted these nurses, these nurse coaches personally, how their relationships were better. They were eating better, moving their bodies more. They were more calm, less stressed out than they've been in, some of them, decades. And what this all adds up to is that what you do in your personal life directly impacts your relationships at work and how you're able to serve and support your clients. So that's why we have such an intense focus on this inside of nurse coaching. Put ourselves first so that way we can serve others to our highest capacity. And here we had, at the Nurse Coach Conference this year, we had nearly 200 nurse coaches coming from across the globe to gather together to focus on us, to focus on our own self-care, to put ourselves first. And so whatever that looks like for you, it is Nurses Week after all, find some ways to focus on putting yourself first. Maybe that's booking a retreat. Maybe it's an afternoon just for you, a little bit of time outside. Whatever that is, do it, because when you do that, you're able to do such better work. You're going to have a better impact, a bigger impact in the world and in your work as a healer. So this was all of us coming together at the Nurse Coach Conference. Me, Heather, our team. But the thing is, we put in an enormous amount of effort. So after this conference, we chilled out. We hung out as a team. We put ourselves first. We even went on a helicopter ride over the Sedona Desert, really focusing on us and taking care of ourselves so that we can continue to propagate the mission of nurse coaching and to continue to expand this field without burning out, right? That's the key. The third takeaway from the nurse coaches who graduated this week is that success is so much easier than you think, and it comes in so many different forms. This was actually mind-blowing to me, and it continues to be pretty much every time, but we had nurse coaches who, even before finishing our training, who had already taken steps to build the nursing practice of their dreams. So let me show you what this looks like. Some of them already started their own private practice, already had 2 to 10 paying clients in their business. Like, think about that. Very often we're asked on application calls, right? In order to become a nurse coach with us, you need to have an application call. And very often we're asked, what's the ROI on my investment? Well, look at it right here. We have it right in front of you. Some of them have multiple paying clients already inside of their business. Other nurse coaches have brought nurse coaching to the current roles of the bedside, leadership, management. They're having such a deeper impact on their patients and colleagues, experiencing so much more fulfillment from their work. Right? So whatever success looks like to you, it can be defined in different ways. Some nurse coaches have found the courage to step away from a position that was draining their soul, and they found a new role that fulfills them with fulfillment, passion, and in a lot of cases, in most cases, a better paycheck too. And I know sometimes it can be hard. It can be challenging because we experience a lot of guilt when we walk away from our current position. Or maybe you've just been doing it for so long, it can feel scary. And that's really the benefit of learning inside of the Nurse Coach Collective, is that you have a collective of 30, 40 nurses who are on your team throughout your entire training, who can help you to cultivate the courage within to be able to make big changes in your career. Even if it's scary, even if it pushes you way outside of your comfort zone, you have just this unrelenting support from your peers, from Heather, myself, from the course guides. That's why all of these changes are able to be created. We had nurse coaches graduating who created new positions for themselves by speaking with hospital leadership to bring health and wellness coaching to the places it's most needed, with patients and healthcare workers alike. It's interesting how often nurse coaches are creating positions for themselves inside of hospitals. When I was a bedside nurse, never would that ever have crossed my mind to go to the C-suite, to go to my chief nursing officer, to go to the CEO of a hospital and be like, hey, I want you to create a position for me because I'm now a nurse coach. Here's how it's going to benefit your organization. Here's how it's going to reduce nurse turnover, nurse burnout. Here's how it's going to increase patient outcomes. Right? Think about how bold that is. But this is happening all across the country. And it's because they were not only empowered with this incredible skill set, but they also had just unrelenting support throughout their entire training and beyond. And the final thing that was really cool is, nurse coaches are teaching classes. They're leading workshops. They're hosting retreats all around the globe before they've even graduated. Like, this is the mind-blowing thing, They're forming partnerships with integrated providers in their areas. So if part of your brain is like, I don't really know what I could do as a nurse coach, the other thing that I want to show you here is we have this reviews tab, but we also have alumni in action. So on this page, we have dozens and dozens of nurse coaches who are doing really incredible things in so many different capacities. And you can hear their stories firsthand and learn from their experience. So that way it's not just bullet points on a page, but you're actually listening to real life nurse coaches who've graduated, who are out there doing the work. And the final thing that I want to say is the biggest takeaway from our graduates is this realization that nurse coaching is the future of our profession. Over the next few months, nurse coaching is going to have level 3 CPT codes, which means that we're going to be able to begin to do massive amounts of research inside of this field. And I know that within 2 to 3 years, we're going to have insurance coverage for this work. Now, love it or hate it, it's the system that we work in. We got to play by their rules until we take over the whole dang thing. But just think about that, because what that means is it's pushing this work mainstream. right? Nurse coaching used to be a little bit fringe, even when I began about 6 years ago. It was still kind of out there. Many nurses didn't know about it. But now, I mean, the level 3 CPT codes allows us just to do an enormous amount of research. And if I was a betting man, I would bet that in a few years, in less than 5 years, nurse coaching is going to be a bona fide clinical specialty. Just like nurse practitioner, nurse midwife, nurse anesthesia, it's going to really accelerate this movement towards a wellness-centered medical model that we know needs to happen. Because when you look at the current model, it's not sustainable, is it? Right? It's just this one big, giant problem. But when I see nurse coaching, I see so much optimism and hope because I realize that there's another way. There's another way to do this that doesn't have to feel like it feels right now, which can sometimes be really heavy and negative. I really, truly, in my heart, believe that there is a way to practice nursing, to bring healing to the masses, to reverse so many of these chronic lifestyle diseases, and to do it all in a way that's hopeful, inspiring, and really, really positive. So y'all, that's what I got for today. Happy Nurses Week. I hope that was fun. I hope that was a little bit helpful for you in just seeing what, hundreds of nurse coaches who graduated with us, what some of their insights were. Happy Nurses Week, y'all. And, if you have any interest in becoming a nurse coach, sign up for a call with us. Sign up for a call. It's 30, 45 minutes out of your life to speak with a bona fide nurse coach, to learn from their experience. But beyond that, you'll have the opportunity to really explore, to dream, and to learn what it is that you want to do inside of your practice as a nurse coach. We got a collective coming up here in about 6 weeks, and another one starting in autumn. So really, there's such a good time to join. It's an amazing experience. Happy Nurses Week.